Hello everybody, Nintenguin here. I know I haven't done a video in like forever, but I've always wanted to do a tier list video, especially for something that I know pretty well, and I'm an avid Mario Kart player, especially Mariokart World. I love this game. I have like 255 hours in it. I've played it like crazy ever since it came out. So I thought it'd be fun to rank all 28 items in the game. Why not, right? So I'm going to rank them on a tier list from S tier through F tier, and I'm going to try to rank the items in between. Some things to keep in mind, though, is that I'm not going to rank them solely based on how powerful they are. I'm also going to consider where you get the item in its placement. So if the item is really weak, but like you only get it in first and second, I'm not just going to lump it into F tier because you expect to get it in first and second. But if it's an item that's not very good, but you get it in a lower position, that I might put it in a lower rank for that because you're trying to get something more powerful and you get a weaker item. That kind of hinders its placement. So where you pull the item is going to have a heavy influence on where I rank this. I just want to make that noted before I get started. But anyway, I think I've addressed everything, so let's get started. Why not? All right, starting off, we have the banana. Pretty basic defense. There's not much else to it. You usually get this first and second, maybe third place. Nothing else beyond that. And really, you're just using it for defense because there's just so much crap going on in this game. So basic defense, so it deserves to go right in the middle. I think C tier is fine. It's nothing bad about it. You expect to get it when you do. So next is triple bananas. I'm gonna put it right in front of single banana. Has the extra bonus of giving you a little shield. Taken that people are probably gonna run right into it and take the bananas anyway, but in that regard, it can also act as an offensive item since people will just ram right into you and they'll slip on the bananas. But for the most part, this is probably going to be more so just protection. And obviously 3 is better than 1. But it's still going to be in C tier. It's still not that great. But like I said, you only get this like from like 1st to 5th. You don't really get it beyond that. So why not? Next is green shell. It's okay. I mostly hold this for defense. I'm going to put it in between banana and triple banana. Again, mostly for defense. You get this. Like I said, you get this between like 1st and 5th, I think. That's about it. Not really a good attack item because it's only 1 and it travels in a straight line kind of hard. You're probably better off just holding it behind you as a defense item, but it's good. You can also use it as an attack item as well. So kind of has 2 uses there, but nothing crazy. So I'm just gonna put it in C tier. Triple greens, on the other hand, I'm actually gonna put this one in B tier because this actually gives you pretty good protection. Like I said, 3 green shells is pretty nice to have. Good protection from reds or fireballs or anything like that. Like I said, you get 3 of, and also if you want to try to attack someone, you get 3 shots. You can shoot all 3 of them back to back, and you're probably going to hit somebody. So triple greens is good. I will say it's kind of weird how you can pull these kind of low. You can get these like all the way back in like 9th, which is kind of weird, but for the most part though, it's a pretty solid pull. I'm never really disappointed when I get this item, so I'm going to put it in B tier. With red shell, I'm going to put it in B tier as well. I'm going to put it high. I'm going to put it 1 above the triple greens. Simply because, like I said, it targets the person in front of you. So it's pretty much a guaranteed hit unless they have some defense. So obviously that makes it much better than the green shells for that reason alone. And again, you can also use it for defense. But I guess I'll say red shells are not as strong as they were in 8 because the stun damage from red shells is not as bad, and people can just use a mushroom and just kind of recover from it quicker. So you may not really be able to gain a whole lot of ground with this item, but it's still good to have. Also, what's kind of weird is that you can again pull a single red shell pretty low. I've pulled in a single red in like 10th before, which is kind of weird. That's kind of crazy, but I'm never upset when I get a single red. Like I said, it's a good attack item, good defense item. I'm gonna put it right in B tier. Triple reds. This is gonna go in A tier. This is one of the strongest attack items in the game. Like 3 red shells, you're guaranteed to hit somebody. If you just hurl all 3 forward, you're gonna hit somebody. And again, it has the extra bonus of giving you some defense. I will say, absolutely wild in this game that you can pull triple reds as high as like 3rd place. That's just broken. I don't know why the game lets you do that. That's just so unbalanced to have 3rd place pull triple red shells and then like have a player in 9th pull a single red shell. But anyway, triple reds is very, very powerful. It always has been, always will be. So I'm going to put it in A tier. Blue shell. And this has also been an item that hasn't really changed. It's a necessary item to balance the game to ensure 1st place doesn't get too far ahead. I understand that. but the user does not get a whole lot out of this item. They never really had. Starting with 7, it was a little better because it traveled on the ground. It had potential to hit other players, but it's still not that great. Even if you hit a few players, you're not going to gain that much out of this, and you usually pull this in the middle. If you pulled this in like 3rd, 4th, 5th, that would be better because at least you'd impact first directly. You'd be closer to them. Maybe you could pass them, but when you're in the middle of the pack, you don't care about who's in first. You just want to catch up, and this is not exactly what you want. So I'm going to put this in D tier. Not the greatest thing to get when you're trying to catch up. All right, coin. You'd think I'd put this in F tier because it's pretty useless. It just gives you 2 coins, which hardly has an impact. It does increase your speed, but like it's not even noticeable. Like 2 coins does nothing. But that said, it doesn't actively harm you. It's not annoying to get because, like I said, you only get this in like 1st and 2nd. You expect to get a coin. When you get a coin, you're like, oh, I wish I got some defense, but like you expect to get it. You know, it's just like, you know, it's just a part of the balance. So I can't really hate on it. I'm not gonna put it in F tier. I will put it in D because it is literally useless, but nothing much beyond that. I will put it above the blue shell though, because like again, I'd honestly rather take 2 coins in a higher position than pull a blue shell in the middle of the pack. All right, the other item is the coin block. I think I'm gonna put this in C tier. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of C tier. It just gives you a bunch of coins. It gives you, I don't know, was it like 7 coins, something like that? It's like 7 or 8 coins, I think it gives you. This is great to get at the beginning of a race, and like when you're like in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, it's actually not a bad pull because, like I said, it gives you a bunch of coins, helps get those coins up, get your top speed up. That's not a bad thing. It kind of sucks that it just creates coins for everybody else behind you, so it kind of benefits everybody. I will say, before, when this game initially came out, the coin block was an item you'd pull in the back, which was stupid. I'd be in like 16th pulling this crap, and I'd be so mad because the last thing I care about in the back is frickin' coins. But luckily they updated it to where you only get this thing in like 1st through 5th, maybe 1st through 6th. It's just a coin, but better because you get more of them. So, but like I said, for that reason alone, it gives you a bunch of coins. It's great early on to get your coin count up. So I'll put it at the bottom of C tier. I would still prefer a banana, but you know, it's not bad. All right, single mushroom. I'm just going straight up to A tier. I'll put it below triple reds. But mushrooms they're always great. It's simple. You get a burst of speed. So many uses for it. You can, you know, take a nice little shortcut through the off-road. You can recover from a hit much quicker. If you're in 1st, you can use it to dodge a blue shell. There's a lot of great uses with the mushroom, and mushrooms are just better in World as well. They're like much faster. And like I said, with the whole open world aspect, there's a lot more off-road and a lot larger shortcuts to take. So mushrooms are very valuable. So even a single mushroom is going to go all the way in A tier. Next is triple mushrooms. I'm going to put this at the top of A tier. It's tempting to put an S, but honestly, it's just so common of an item. It's literally the most common item in the game. Like if you're in like 7th place or further back, there's a very solid chance you're pulling triple mushrooms at some point. It's such a common item. And it's really good too. I mean, it's great. You can take a massive shortcut with 3 mushrooms. It gives you 3 different. You can use them at all different places to take 3 different shortcuts. And again, it helps you recover from taking hits in the middle of the pack. It's a really, really useful item to have. You can't go wrong with them. But I will say the only quote downside is the fact that everybody gets this item. So if you take a shortcut with these, everybody behind you is probably doing the exact same thing. So you may not gain a whole lot of ground with this item solely because everyone's probably doing the same shortcuts as you. But it's still a great item. It's still great to have. It's, you know, speed boost. You can't go wrong with it. All right, golden mushroom. This item's cracked in this game. This item got a huge buff. In 8, it was kind of weak. It wasn't that great. You just want to get rid of it. It was just slow in 8. It just felt slow to use. But they really buffed this thing up in World. It is so much faster. And like I said, with the whole open world, there's so much off-road. You can take enormous shortcuts with this thing. It's unreal. Even when you're just in mid-pack, you just spam this thing. You'll just pass everybody. This thing is amazing. It's great for clutching high positions at the last minute, taking that last little quick shortcut to get through. It is such a good item. I'm going to put it all the way in S tier. It might be the best item in the game. I do not know. I'll have to see when I'm done with the list to see if I want to make any changes. But yeah, golden is so good in this game. Not to mention, it's also pretty easy to pull a golden mushroom. It's also a pretty common item to pull, and you can pull it as high as like 10th, which is insane. So you can pull it pretty high up. So it's not hard to get your hands on a golden, which also just makes it better. All right, next is feather. I could not tell you how happy I was when this item was announced to finally be able to be used in actual races. When I saw it come back in 8 Deluxe, I was so excited, and I heard it was only for battle. I was like, aw. Because I love the idea of a feather just, jumping up to hop over a bunch of obstacles and stuff. And I'm so glad they actually put it back into being a part of regular races. I haven't had it like that since the very first Mario Kart. So yeah, feather is pretty decent in this game, actually. There's a lot you can do with it. Obviously, you can hop over things like red shells and other things coming for you, but you can also take some really cool shortcuts with it. You can hop over patches of off-road, and there's some exclusive feather cuts you can do too. And usually there's every track pretty much has a feather usage somewhere. So it's never a bad item, and what's extra cool is that you can get this thing all the way in first. You can get this thing in first and take some nice shortcuts with it as well. So pretty useful to have, and like I said, if you want to get rid of it, you can easily do so. You just pop up in the air real quick. You can just do it right before an item box and chain it if you want. But it just has a lot of potential, a lot of versatility. I really like the feather. I think it's pretty good. I'm going to put it in B tier. I'll put it above the red shell. Yeah, I think you can do a lot more with it. I will say the only weakness with the feather is the intermissions, because intermissions are mostly just, straight lines, a lot of off-road on the side. There's not a whole lot you can do with them on intermissions, but on the tracks themselves, the feather's pretty strong. But like I said, if you pull this on an intermission, you're probably just going to have to burn it because there's not a whole lot you can do, which is unfortunate, but it's still a very good item. I do like the feather. All right, next is Fire Flower. Yeah, you're going in C tier, bud. I'm going to put you below the green shell. The reason I'm putting it below the green shell is, again, it's where you get the item. You get this in like the mid pack, and it's not the best. It's honestly, of the spam offense items, it's probably the worst one, because you're just spamming fireballs. You'll probably hit maybe 1-2 people, but like you don't spin out that much when you get hit by a fireball. And like I said, everyone in the mid pack probably has mushrooms anyway, so they'll just recover from it like instantly. So, like I said, I've been in like 12th, and I've gotten a Fire Flower and a Golden. Like, what kind of a combo is that? Like, you're telling me I could be getting Golden mushrooms, triple mushrooms, you give me a Fire Flower? Like, that? Come on. So, usually when you pull this thing, you don't want it. You kind of pull this in the mid-pack, and it's just not that great. It doesn't do a whole lot. You're usually just going to get rid of it almost immediately. So, that's why I'm going to put it in C tier. It's just okay. All right, up is the Ice Flower. Again, when I heard that this was being added, I was so excited because I really like how the Ice Flower works in Tour. How when you get hit by an ice ball, you literally freeze and cannot steer or control your car for like 2 seconds. I think that's a really cool concept. It's a great way to implement an Ice Flower. Like I said, if you use this in like a really curvy section, you can really screw over your opponents. And then I was so excited, and I played it, and I figured out that it's literally the exact same thing as a Fire Flower. I literally don't know the difference between these two. They literally do the exact same thing. You don't freeze, you just spin out of control just like the Fire Flower. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if there's like a subtle difference. I will say you pull the Ice Flower in higher positions, so like it's almost like the game is telling you that the Fire Flower is technically slightly more strong because you pull it further back. But I'm actually going to put the Ice Flower in front of the Fire Flower because I much prefer having this thing in a placement like 4th or 5th than having it in like 12th. So at least I expect to get an item like this in 4th or 5th, so I'm going to put it above the Fire Flower for that reason. Alright, next is Boomerang. I don't know how controversial this is going to be, but I'm going to put this all the way in B tier. I'm going to put it in front of the Red Shell. I know a lot of people hate the Boomerang, and the main reason for that is just because it doesn't disappear from your item slot when you throw it. So if you want to chain this item, like an 8, as soon as you threw it, it went away from your item slot, and then it just came back to your second slot when it came back to you. In this game, you have to completely use it for it to disappear. So if you want to chain this item, you literally have to throw it all 4 times to get rid of it. And that just incentivized people to spam it like crazy. There was way too many of them. It was super annoying. But luckily, thank God, it got nerfed to where it's only 3 throws and they don't go as far, so it's much easier to get rid of. So I'll say, as annoying as the Boomerang is, I can't deny that it's a really good offensive item. You can hit multiple people with it. It goes right through defense like green shells. It just pierces right through those. It's really useful for that. I can't deny that it's a really strong offensive item. But there are times where I'll get this thing, I'm like, come on, I'm trying to get mushrooms. But after the update, it's definitely better. If this was before the update, I'd probably put it in C tier. but I think it's pretty strong as an offensive item, so I'm going to put it in B tier, honestly. I think it's pretty solid. All right, up next is the Mega Mushroom. This is interesting. I got buffed and nerfed at the same time. I was also very excited for this item because we haven't had it since Wii. I guess it was in Tour, but it sucks in Tour. We don't talk about that. I love the Mega Mushroom. It's buffed in the way that you go much faster than you did. And the other interesting thing is that a shock does not shrink you. When you get hit by lightning, you don't shrink. You stay big, which is just absolutely overpowered because everyone else gets smaller and you just remain mega. That's freaking crazy. You pass so many people when that happens. It's outrageous. But I was saying, it is an invincibility item. It is very strong. Lets you go very fast. It's also pretty common. The only downside is that you can't chain it. In Wii, you could just use it and it would immediately disappear. In this game, it does not disappear from your item slot, so you do have to play around that. But that honestly, that hardly hinders this item. It's super powerful. It's going into S tier. Very strong item. Again, invincibility is very nice. You can squish so many other people with this thing. You're completely invincible, unlike Wii, where like the bullet, star, and lightning could still hit you. You are completely invincible in World. It is a very strong item. You will only be pulling this further in the back, though. But like I said, it's very powerful. I don't know if I'm gonna put it above the golden, because golden you can get so many placements from golden at the last second, and again you can pull golden a little higher up. So I think I'm gonna keep it below golden, but it's definitely an S tier item. On the contrary, Blooper, F tier, easy. Blooper sucks. It has always sucked. It has sucked ever since it came out in DS. Ever since the year it was born, this item has sucked. Blooper doesn't do anything. It squirts ink on the players in front of you. If anything, it's just an inconvenience to them, but it doesn't really mess up their driving. I mean, I'd say 99% drivers, they know what they're doing. They, even with a little bit of ink on our screen, we know where we're going. This isn't really going to throw us off that much at all. So Blooper's useless. You use this thing, he just disappears, and nothing happens. He just wastes an item slot. I will say he was worse in previous games because you'd pull him in like mid-back positions, like in Mariokart Wii and like 8, you'd be pulling this thing in like 9th, which sucked. In this game, he's a lot more rare, which is good. Just get him out of here. I don't even know why he's still in the game. He's useless. But at least you pull him in higher positions, so it's not as bad when you pull him. And it's, again, very rare when you pull the Blooper. But anytime you do get the Blooper, you're just like, dude, come on, really? Literally anything else but the Blooper. So Blooper sucks, instant F tier. I hate Blooper. Garbage item. Alright, next is Star. This did get nerfed in this game a little bit. You don't go as fast as you did in prior games. Like in 8, it's noticeable. Like most in prior games, you use a Star, you went noticeably faster. In this game, you barely go faster. Now you can still go into the off-road without losing speed, but it's kind of hard to like catch up to people when using this because you're not really going faster. But just the fact that it makes you invincible is just incredible. I mean, that's already like a really good item. And this is the only invincibility item that you can fully chain, which is extremely valuable. You can chain this into another item set and essentially have this being active while you roll 2 new items, which is really good. Another thing, you can pull this item really high up. I've pulled a Star in like 6th before. It's unbelievable. But this item's also like a lot more rare. Like it used to be very common in 8 alongside triple shrooms. Those two were like the most common combo. In this game, the Star is very rare, which is interesting. But anytime you get this though, still very good. You can do a lot with it. Just being invincible in the mid pack with this thing is so valuable because the mid pack is just so chaotic. And again, like I said, being able to chain this item is great. So I'm gonna put this in S tier, absolutely. Next is Bob-omb. This one did get nerfed a little bit. I will say I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B tier. Honestly, Bob-omb's just better as defense in this game because it doesn't like in 8 it was a little too strong because all you had to do was be near it and it would just detonate and kill you. There's just nothing you can do. If first place just planted a bomb behind him, second place is just dead. There's no way to get around it. If you are just anywhere close to it, it explodes. In this game, it's the opposite. You can drive right next to it and it won't go off. This thing never goes off. So throwing this in front of you is almost pointless because it'll never hit anybody. It'll never go off. As defense, though, is pretty strong. Like I said, you can, if anyone hurls items at you, it just explodes everything behind you. I think the best perk about this thing is that it destroys a boomerang. If someone chucks a boomerang at you from behind, it just explodes it, which is great. just you don't have to deal with it anymore. Just get it out of here. Like I said, it got nerfed. It's not as strong as it used to be, but it's still a solid defense item. It's not as good as these other ones, but it's okay. All right, next is Bullet Bill. This one's gonna be tough to rank because like it's Bullet Bill. Bullet Bill is great. Bullet Bill's super strong, but Bullet Bill also got like kind of nerfed in this game as well. It's not nearly as fast as it used to go. It's not as fast as it used to be. And it also just doesn't last as long. Like if you use this in a large crowd of a bunch of other racers, this thing lasts like 3 seconds. It's stupid. However, you still have bullet extensions. You still have you can use this smartly and get a lot out of it. Again, you're completely invincible. It drives itself. It pushes everyone out of the way. You just plow through everything. And again, you're still going faster than the average racer, but it's just not great. I think the biggest downside is that it always follows the main route. So, like, on intermissions, Bullet Bill's not that great because you're better off just taking a golden and taking an enormous shortcut. You can't really do that with Bullet because it stays on the route, which is a lot slower. On the actual tracks, though, Bullet is very good. And certain sections of tracks are great. I think a great example is the tower section on Airship Fortress, because obviously it can't drop you off on a curve. It just goes that entire thing. You just push everyone out of your way, plow through. It is super good in those kind of circumstances. So I can't not put it in S tier. It's not as strong as it was, but I can't not put it in S tier. I don't know if I'd put it in front of Star though. I'm gonna put it below Star for now. I might move it later, but you know, it's still Bullet Bill at the end of the day. It's still a great item, so I can't not put it in S tier. All right, next to the shock, another item that got heavily neutered, but it kind of had to happen in this game. There's 24 people, so if you're wondering what it does, it only hits the people in front of the user now, which honestly that's a great change because nothing's more annoying than being in last place. You're just trying to get some items to catch up, and then you get shocked. You're like, dude, someone in front of you gets the shock and then you lose your items. Like that was always so annoying. So I'm glad that was added. One thing that is interesting though is that you are only small for like 2 seconds. You shrink back up so fast. Even the person in first, they're back to normal size within like 3 seconds. It's kind of crazy. So shock is not as nearly as powerful as it used to be. Like I said, it kind of had to be, because if it still had the same power as it did in previous games, this thing would be OP as hell. Being able to keep 23 other racers that small for that long amount of time, that's just too broken. So the nerfs were necessary, but I still don't think it's great, but I don't think I'm going to put it in S. I think I'm going to put it at the top of A tier because it's good to get, but really to get the maximum use out of this, you're going to want to use this in conjunction with another item like a golden or a bullet. Because on its own, it's not going to do a whole lot to help you catch up because everyone's going to shrink back up almost immediately. So it's not great. It's not amazing on its own. It's still very powerful, but I think it's best if it's used with another item. So I'm just going to put it at the top of A tier and just kind of call it at that. All right, Super Horn. I'm going to put this at the bottom of A tier. As far as this is one of the best defense items in the game. It's also a lot more common. Like, it was pretty uncommon to pull an 8, but they made it way more common to pull this thing in Worlds. You see this item a lot, especially in the mid-pack. But great defense, great offense. If there's just a lot of people around you and you're just getting cluttered by a bunch of other racers nearby, you just use this and just get everyone out of your vicinity, which is great. It destroys like every item, which is excellent. So if there's a bunch of green shells, red shells, fireballs, boomerangs, hammers all around, just use this thing and just get rid of everything. It just blows everything away, which is amazing. And of course, the Super Horn can destroy the blue shell. I think that's like obviously a great perk of that. However, getting a Horn in first is way more rare now. But Horn is just, it's a great defense item, great offense item. I think it deserves to be an A tier. I said the fact that it can just destroy literally every other item is just amazing. It's really good for that. Like I said, it's good if there's just too many races around you. You just get everyone out of your way. It's just very useful for those circumstances. Next is Coin Shell. This is another new item. It is not the same thing as the gold shell from the arcade games. It's completely different. And unfortunately, it sucks. I'm putting it in D tier. Really what harms this item, it's actually a lot like the blue shell, where it travels down the middle of the road faster than you can drive and just hits other racers along the way. But instead of going after the person first, this thing just leaves a trail of coins behind itself for assuming the user to collect. So in theory, you wouldn't think this item's that bad. It's a great way to get some coins, and like you said, it can hit other racers who happen to be in the middle of the road, or if you use this on a rail, you can just kill everybody on the railing, just do an absolutely evil maneuver like that. But what really harms this item is where you pull it, because you pull this in like the mid-back, which sucks. This is the last thing you want to get when you're in the mid-back. If you're in a 12-player room, you can pull this as far back as 9th. So that means in 24 players, I assume that equals you can pull this as far back as 18th. So, you're trying to pull mega mushrooms, goldens, bullets, like things to catch up, and then you pull a freaking coin shell. It's like, are you kidding me? Coins are not what you're focusing on when you're in the back. What you need is power items, and this is not what you want at all. At best, it can be defense, but like at the same time, if you get this in the back, what do you need defense from? No one has red shells in the back. This isn't going to protect you from anything in the back, so it can be a defense item. Like I said, you can hit some people with it, but like it's just not that useful. And every time you pull it, you could have always just pulled something better. So that's why I'm going to put it in D tier, and I'm putting it below the coin. But I will put it slightly above the blue shell because again, at least it gives you money. It gives you coins at least, so has that edge over the blue shell. All right, hammer. This is the last of the attack items. It is also new. I'll put this above boomerang and below the feather. I'm gonna put it right there. You pull this between like 2nd and 6th place, I think, but it's actually pretty good. You're pretty much guaranteed to hit somebody with this thing because it cuts right through everyone's defense. It cuts right through shells. It cuts right through literally everything they have, and it also hits people from above as well. It just crashes down and just shatters everybody. Hurl this forward or backward. Very useful. Again, like I said, you're gonna hit somebody if you use this. I will say it can't really protect you. That's the only downside. It's not great for defense because you throw them at an arch. So if you want to you protect yourself from an oncoming red shell, you have to throw them behind you earlier than when the red shell would approach you from behind. So you actually destroy it from a distance. Like I said though, it does its job well for from where you get this item. Like I said, you get this in like higher. You get this in, higher position or lower positions. Sorry, you get this in like lower positions. Like I said, between like 2nd and 6th place. Very good attack item. I'm gonna put it above boomerang solely because if you don't want this item, you can get rid of it really fast. Unlike the boomerang where you have to spam it to get rid of it, you can just get rid of hammer immediately if you don't want it. So that's why it's getting a slight edge over boomerang. But these two are both very strong attack items. I think they're pretty equal in that department. But I'm putting it above solely because you can just get rid of it faster. All right, boo. Oh boy. Yeah, Boo's pretty great in this game. It did get buffed. It now has, returning from Mario Kart DS, it now has the ability to let you go into the off-road without losing speed. Everything else is the same. You are completely invincible for like 7 seconds. I guess it got nerfed in that department because you were invincible for 10 seconds in 8, so a little bit shorter, but it's still great. Like I said, being able to be invincible, go in the off-road, you steal an item. What really makes this thing cracked is how high up you can pull this item. You can pull Boo in 3rd place, which is unbelievable. You can pull a dodge item in 3rd place. And it's not that uncommon, too. Boo is kind of... You'd think it's rare to pull this thing in 3rd. It's not that rare. It actually happens quite often. The only problem about getting it higher up is that, well, whatever he's going to steal is probably not going to be very good when he's only stealing from, like, people... between like 1st and 4th, but just the fact that you can pull this as a dodge item in such a high position definitely earns its place in S tier. I'm gonna put it above the star solely because this thing is just a lifesaver. If it's like the last lap and you're in 5th place and you pull Boo, that's like the greatest feeling ever. Like you're safe. I mean, you're fine. You're safe. You're gonna use this. You're gonna be invincible from all the chaos. And again, you're in a high position when you can pull this thing, which is just absolutely cracked. So I have to put this in S tier, being a dodge item and being able to pull this at such a high position. And again, you can take some pretty big shortcuts with it as well because you can go in the off-road without losing speed. So, like I said, you might steal a good item for you as well. All right, Chemic Orb. It's technically called just Chemic, but I'm calling it the Chemic Orb because why would I just call it Chemic? I want to like this item. I really do. But it's just not good. I have to put it in F tier. It's just not. I'll put it above the blooper, though. So it literally just spawns a bunch of enemies in front of you to hit other racers. The only problem is that I can hit you. all the obstacles you spawn can also hit yourself. So like if you're not careful, you can literally be damaged by your own item. He's also incredibly rare to pull this item, and it doesn't really do a whole lot because it's not that hard to dodge most of these obstacles unless it's an avid, which he spawns the bombs, and that's hard. But for the most part, this item's pretty weak. People can just go right around the obstacles that spawn. It does mess up people's drift. I guess if you use this on like rails or like certain sections, it can be a little impactful, but like again, most of the time this isn't going to do much. I'll put it above Blooper because at least it does something. But it's kind of on the same boat with Blooper where you just kind of use this and just kind of hope something happens, and most of the time nothing will happen. Like I said, the downside is that you can literally create something that will harm yourself, which is stupid. So Chemic, as rare and as cool of an item as it is, I'm sorry, it is just garbage in this game. When you pull this item, you're just like, ugh, you just use it immediately, get it out of here. Alright, lastly is Dash Food. This one's kind of hard to rank because it actually has 3 different tiers. It changes based on when you get this item, like what rank you're in. If you get this in a higher position, like when you get this in like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that kind of thing, it gives you a boost that's less than a mushroom. It's pretty weak. The 2nd tier, which you can get around the middle, is about the same as a mushroom, and if you get this in the further back, it gives you like a really long boost. So basically, it's just a free mushroom or a free boost. You usually, get these on intermissions. Very easy to collect. Everyone can get an item like this. I will say it does have some drawbacks. Like I said, most of the time it's going to be weaker than a regular mushroom because it's just not as strong as a regular mushroom is. So I'm gonna put it. I'll put it in beat. I don't know, because like when you're in the back, you don't really care about this item because it takes up an item slot. You're mostly focused on getting these stronger items, not the food bag. So, but like when you're in a mid position, it's not bad to pick this item up, but like it's not inherently great either. But like a boost is a boost, you know what I'm saying? So like I'll put it above the red shell. I think it's fair. I'm gonna place it right here above the red shell because, like I said, it's not super strong. The only time it will be really good is if you get this in the back. But again, you're not really gonna be trying to get this in the back anyway. So anyway, all right, that's my complete list of all items in Mariokart World ranked. I think I have these in the positions I want. These 5 items are just really good. These are all the items you want. Just the fact that you can pull these 2 in like really high positions is amazing. I don't know, some of these may change, but I think I'm good with this list. But anyway, alright, that's going to do it for this one. So thank you for watching. Obviously, this was kind of a rushed video, just kind of threw this together. I thought it would be fun to record something like this. I've wanted to do a tier list for a while. And again, I like Mariokart World. I'll probably rank the tracks at some point as well, because I just love this game so much. I know everything about it. I'm sure I'd love to do the tracks next, and I have some other ideas I'd love to do, but personally, I love tier lists, so this was just kind of like a fun little video to do. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!